Hey everyone, Ryan here. If you follow me on my Instagram, which is Power Rangergram, you'll have seen it yesterday. It was a very exciting evening for me. I finally completed Power Rangers Legacy Mighty Morphin. It's taken 3 waves to do this. I'm so happy to be at the end of it. It's been stressful. For some reason with Legacy figures, they are not as fun to find as the main line. They are so hard to find in the first place. They sell out once they get there. This has kind of been the case since they started doing the 5-inch Legacy line of Mighty Morphin, and then on to the 5-inch movie Mighty Morphin. Those I got from all over. I got some from America Toys R Us, I got some in store. When these new Legacy figures were first announced, I really wasn't that excited. I thought I'm set for my Power Rangers. I've got my 5-inch ones, they match everything else, and they've got weapons and everything. These, of course, were kind of billed as being kind of Bandai America's version of the Figure Arts line, which I never got back then because I thought it was crazy money to pay for a figure. So I kind of wasn't that excited for them. Eventually decided to get involved in late November. I managed to get some Wave 1s, which were in a Toys R Us store. And then about a month later, so the end of January, I managed to get Wave 2, the Mighty Morphins from that. And now at the end of February, I got Wave 3. So I'm very happy. Trini is basically the exact same mold as Kimberly, except minus the skirt, which gives you much better articulation in her legs so that you can pose her a bit more accurately to what promo pictures used to show. Kimberly's skirt just gets in the way. I did consider slicing it a bit like the Ninja Steel ones, but I thought it's just going to keep tearing, so I haven't, and I've just left it as is. Weird thing about Trini, I think one of her legs is longer than the other. I'm referring to her right leg. Obviously results may vary, see what yours ends up looking like, but I was trying to get her in like a stationary normal pose and she couldn't do it. Like her left foot was kind of a millimeter or two just off the floor, so that was really irritating. So I've kind of had to kind of compensate by just bending her knee a bit in, and that kind of lets you do it, but still a bit sloppy, I thought. Also, another issue with Trini's legs, thigh gap. So the same leg that's given me the issue with being too long, when you turn it, there's a noticeable kind of see-through gap. Bad news for belt fans, Trini again has something wrong with her belt. So this was weirdly something that they got right straight away in Wave 1 with the red and green Rangers, and have never got right since. So Wave 2, blue, pink, black, silver belts, no black lightning bolts on the actual morpher. This time, white belts. Halfway there. They still didn't do the black bolts on Trini's morpher, so that's something that I'm going to try and fill in like I have done with the rest later on. For the purpose of this video, it's wrong, but you know, go and check out my Instagram at some stage and I'm sure you'll see the corrected version. A downside for the White Ranger, my one, his shield, his right shoulder plate was crushed in the packaging. Don't know how that happened, but yeah, if you turn it around you see the other side, it's absolutely fine, it's got the curve in like you'd expect, but then over his right shoulder it looks like the force of being in the plastic and the mould has affected it. So I'm going to get a hairdryer on that tomorrow and see if I can sort that out. Saba is beautiful, it's much nicer than we've had before. Previously I thought the movie Saba was the best, and I do prefer the gold that's on the head of Saba to the black they've replaced it with here. But to make up for it, they have put a very nice textured finish on the blade. So win some, lose some. After 3 waves, this finally completes the Megazord. So it's been kind of hopping along with one leg for a while, but finally Saber-Tooth Tiger has come to provide some much needed stability. Downside to Saber-Tooth Tiger is that it's very loose, especially compared to Triceratops. It just kind of flops and hangs there, so look out for that. As before, it was a bit of a nightmare to get the thigh piece in that very narrow gap, and unfortunately I can't seem to take it off to show you what it looked like before, so you'll just have to imagine it. Without weapons, it's pretty boring, to be honest. It's got a much more humanoid appearance than, say, the Legacy Megazord, but I would still prefer the Legacy Megazord as a display piece, which it seems like this is what they're saying this is, because there's no villains in that scale for it to fight or anything. There's no weapons for it to hold. I guess all it is supposed to do is stand there. I've cheated obviously in this video. I've ported over the weapons from my 5-inch figures. Most of them are actually quite acceptable. The only obvious ones where it looks a bit odd are the Power Sword, the Power Axe. those you can kind of tell, especially next to Tommy, that they're a little on the short side. But hey, let's just pretend that they're holding the 93 weapons that we used to get, which were too small. Something interesting that I've noticed on Ranger Board recently is that the Then and Now packs, which have the painted weapons in again, the Red Ranger, his power sword is a few millimeters shorter, and that's all going to count if you're trying to make it pass for a Legacy 6.5-inch sword. So just bear that in mind if you're trying to decide between an armoured Red Ranger sword and a Then and Now pack Red Ranger sword. Power blasters. Now these look too small in their hands, but if you actually compare them to the rubbish holstered versions that you get with the figures, they're actually the same size, so they shouldn't look too small. Especially with the girls, you can get 2 hands on the handle there, so you can get some really nice poses with them, and you know what, they'll do. I'll take them over, well, nothing. I've noticed on Instagram that someone called Eric_Data is considering 3D printing weapons, including blade blasters, in its sword and normal blaster mode. That would be very welcome. Are they perfect with these smaller size weapons? No. But that's kind of par for the course with these figures, which were far from perfect to begin with. There's been so many issues over the last 3 waves. Red Ranger's helmet kind of kicked it off in wave 1, the belt debacle in wave 2. Now in wave 3 we've got Trini with her weird phantom leg, Tommy with his shield thing, but you know, that I can get over. Also, Tommy's helmet, I can see that the gold hasn't been filled in all the way along, and that's going to probably drive me crazy, but I'm just going to pretend it doesn't happen. The hands, the Blue Ranger hand has gone very loose, so I don't know what that will mean for the rest of them over time. Red Ranger, I've got a very sad story for you here. His hand snapped clean off at the joint within 24 hours of me having it. I tried to replace it with an open-handed one so that you could hold the power blaster like this. Instead, I just snapped it clean off at the peg. The peg is not good, it's not strong. You know when you took the hands off your armoured figures, you thought, oh god, I'm going to break it, but you never did because the pegs were very strong and reasonably durable. This time they're about half the width, half as strong. They are awful, they are really bad, so don't replace your hands. That's something that Figure Arts still have over these. Pink Ranger and her skirt really hinders mobility, as I've said. Nothing we can really do though. Weapons is and remains the big sticking point. The problem with Power Ranger figures is they're all so similar that you do need their individual weapons to kind of tell them apart, or at least give them a bit more personality. If they had done a weapons pack, it would have been wonderful. As it is, they're re-releasing the figures to get you to buy them again so that they can, I don't know, prove that Mighty Morphin is still selling in the Legacy line. I don't know, I just don't know. But yeah, it was a big misstep. I would have 100 times over I would have had weapons over build a Megazord. I'm perfectly happy with the Megazords I have. I get they probably mostly did that for the other seasons where there's no Legacy versions of those Megazords on the future plans for the time being, but still, weapons, come on. Sidearms are just not very interesting. I've got the 3 Ninja Storm figures from Wave 1. I've not taken them out of the box because I do need Green Samurai, Crimson, Navy Thunder. If I get all 6, I'll take them out. I'll then port the weapons over from my 6-inch figures and I'll just make them hold them, and that'll have to do. But yeah, they really screwed up the Ninja Storm swords as well, as you probably know. They didn't make them come out of the holster. They just made a holster with a handle sticking out as a flat piece and then a separate sword, but no empty holster. So yeah, that's a mess. As I say though, if Ninja Storm B comes, I'll buy them and then I'll get all my Ninja Storm figures out, but until then, I'm just going to leave them in the box and we'll see what happens. In Space, one of my favourite seasons in Space, but can't say I'm that excited about there being 5 of the 6 figures for that either, especially when they only come with Astro Blasters, which don't come apart to accommodate their weapons, which clearly are probably never coming either. So yeah, I'll stick with my 5-inch figures for In Space. I'm very excited for Zeo, probably the next one I will jump on and buy all 6 of, and what a relief to actually have a full team again, except for Auric. That'll be exciting to have all of those by the end of the year. The Zeo figures, as you might have seen, I've got up until now are a bit of a mix. I've got 3 action hero ones, 3 automorphin flip heads. They're very scuffed from being a kid. I think it'll be much nicer to have them in the Legacy style. Dino Thunder, for now I can do without. However, if they were to announce Ninja Storm Part B, I probably would pick them up because I'd quite like to recreate the crossover with those 2 teams. In sum, if you bought the other 5, you know you're going to pick up Trini and Tommy Part 2. you kind of need them to complete the set. If you haven't bought any Mighty Morphin Legacy figures up until now, think about it. There are other versions coming. They're going to have weapons, you might want them more. You're really not missing much in the Megazord. The only thing with those repainted versions is that there's not currently the 2 Tommies coming in that style. So you've either got to get 7 figures that all match with no weapons, or 7 figures that don't match or with weapons. So actually having all 7 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, they look great together. The colours are very accurate. They're much more accurate than the 5-inch action heroes. The helmets of most of them are really great, apart from red. But yeah, most of them really stand out and really look fantastic. I don't like that the heads aren't on a ball joint, so you can't get very much posability. And also most of them, especially the males, the heads are quite crooked, so they're always kind of looking at you like this. I don't know if that's just the luck I've been having or if that's just the line as a whole. But yeah, it's could be better. Must try harder. That's all I've got to say about the Mighty Morphin complete set of Legacy figures for now. Hope you've enjoyed this. Hope you've enjoyed the excessive use of slow-mo. Please let me know if this video was useful to you in some way, like it or comment or whatever. I might do another one as time goes on. Just this week I got the SDCC Comic Con Power Ranger Mighty Morphin key set, which was something that I wanted years ago. Never got it because it was too expensive. Finally got the right price for it. Also, it might be quite interesting for me to compare this new Legacy White Ranger with previous White Rangers that we've had in the very recent past. So that's it for now. Happy hunting to you. I hope you complete your Mighty Morphin sets like I have. Good luck. Enjoy this moment. Enjoy having a complete team of Legacy figures. It's rare. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I post stuff every week. Power Ranger Gram. Thank you if you already are. See you soon. Bye.